She laughed when you said you work in trades until you showed her your bonus. I know what you're thinking. You might be thinking from the title, blue collar always paid good. People just weren't willing to do the work. And that is 100% correct. However, nowadays, it means much more than that. What I'm trying to say is that blue collar work is going to be the leading pioneer, the new meta. It's the new startup in Silicon Valley. It'll be the new opening chat up line on a Tinder day. What do you do? Instead of, I work in finance, I'm an investment banker, it's, I work in construction. I'm 100 feet up in the air on most of my days, and I could lose a finger as a derrick hand. Oh, I also just got my bonus for 200,000. So in this video, I'll explaining why I think blue collar work is the new meta moving forward in the next decade, as well as how you can tap into it. The first point is that the industry is severely undervalued. Now, I can talk about all of the trades here, but I'll use oil and gas as an example of this. The oil and gas industry is a $1 trillion industry, and it's actually projected to easily triple that entering the 2030s. The reason why we have not seen that number is because of political stigma towards the oil and gas industry throughout the years, as well as the lack of funding. Oil and gas industry is an inevitable growth. Secondly, when the suits got laid off, the boots kept working. Economic uncertainty makes physical work more secure. As mentioned in my last job application video, the state of our current economy is going through a lot of layoffs in tech and finance. Construction needs laborers. Oil rigs could always use more people to boost oil production. Trades like HVAC, plumbing are desperate to keep up with the aging infrastructure and growing demand. Think about it, guys. If society were to collapse and start over, which individual would have a higher value immediately? The man who knows how to connect beams, form framework, and build infrastructure? Or the individual that consults businesses on how to boost sales by 5%? Blue collar is here to stay. Lastly, the trades industry has a massive labor shortage. A whole generation skipped the trades. For years, high schools pushed the university or failure narrative. As a result, an entire generation flooded into white collar degrees and leaving the blue collar industry gapped, leaving critical trades empty. Now we're paying the price. Massive infrastructure projects are being delayed. Projects in Canada and the US, for example, bridges, pipelines, transit, are all being stalled because there's not enough skilled hands. And that's a massive opportunity if you can step in. Also, immigration is filling gaps, but not fast enough. Governments are trying to import labor to fill demand, but it still can't keep up with the shortfall. If you're local, certified, and ready to work, you'll be prioritized and paid. In fact, I know for certain that here in North America, you need to be a US or Canadian citizen to work in most blue collar work. So if you're a citizen in both of these countries, well, you're good because you're prioritized. And I think you should. AI isn't replacing blue collar just yet. I'm sure you've already seen 3D printed houses and corporations inventing robots that can assemble houses, but the framing, mixing of concrete, structuring is still labor required. Also, there's too many independent variables for a robot to fully compensate for. I don't think any robot can replicate the intricacies of human design. It's going to take a while for AI to figure out HVAC, plumbing, electrician jobs through algorithmic solving. Now, here's how you can tap in. Look into trade certifications depending on what niche you want, like rig technician, pipe fitter, or heavy equipment operator, most of which are under a year to complete. If you have zero labor experience, getting a standard first aid certificate gets you ahead of 50% of the applicants. If you plan on applying to the oil rigs, for example, the standard first aid certificate plus H2S Alive certification qualifies you to apply already. It probably only takes a week to complete both. Find your niche of trade that you're interested in and find stackable credentials that can boost your application chances. You'll see a lot of people on Reddit crying, oh, I tried applying and applied to at least 100 jobs and I got ghosted. Yeah, 100 jobs online. Handing your resume in person to a recruiter not only shows eagerness, but it shows balls. And let me tell you right now, if you want to make money in blue collar, you'll need them. Explore programs in your city that are actively funding training pipelines because they need workers now. Oftentimes, companies will sponsor you to attend trade schools for training, and the benefit is that you earn while you learn. Use LinkedIn to connect project managers in your area to discuss opportunities with you. You can refer to my job application video to see how to stand out. Oh, also, don't sleep on unionized roles. Because of the labor shortage, they offer frequent overtime pay, meaning you'll be earning much more if you're willing to put in the work. Unlike some white collar jobs, you can be putting in overtime voluntarily, not even get a 5% raise at the end of the year. When everyone else looks right, look left. It may not be something you want to do, but it might be something you're good at. And I always say this to people in life, you don't do what you want, you do what you're good at. And maybe blue collar is something you'll be good at. In fact, it might be what you need right now. Now, let me share you my thoughts as to why I personally think it's the move. If you're watching this video, this is literally the perfect time to enter the industry because you're currently in a medial position where the industry desperately needs workers, whilst the industry is growing at an exponential rate and will continue to do so in the next decade. So, if you're watching this video and you're lost and you just want to do something, blue collar is something you should consider. Heck, I believe everything happens for a reason. And if you see this video, you should go apply to blue collar work. Another most important point is that there is no corporate bullshit. When you ask for a job in blue collar and they ask why, you can just be honest. You can go up to a project manager and say, I'm inexperienced, but I got heart in my hands and I'm ready to go to work. And they'll consider you. If you spoke in this manner in other industries, it'd be considered an insult because somehow they think in order to apply for an entry level position that clearly doesn't pay enough to cover rent, that individual should be salivating at the mouth when they hear $20 an hour. That's why they call blue collar work honest work. Blue collar isn't backup, it's the backbone. Do you know why I know you're suited for blue collar work? Chances are you're scrolling on TikTok addicted to just doom scrolling. The chances are if you worked a desk job, you wouldn't be able to sit tight. Guess what? Blue collar work keeps you moving. So get moving and get applying and start making that money.